Gandang araw mga kapatid. Tayo po ay nasa pagbabasa ngayon ng salita ng Diyos. Ayan. At mamaya po ay umpisa natin ang aklat ng Leviticus chapter 22. Ayan. So, magandang araw mga kapatid at tayo po ay nasa aklat ng Leviticus chapter 22. Ayan. At tayo po ay sa wikang Ingles. Leviticus 22, the Lord said to Moses, "Tell Aaron and his sons to treat with respect the sacred offerings the Israelites consecrate to me, so they will not profane my holy name. I am the Lord. Say to them for the generation to come, if any of your descendants is ceremonially unclean and yet comes near the sacred offerings that the Israelites consecrate to the Lord, that person must be cut off from my presence. I am the Lord." Leviticus 22 verse 4, if a descendant of Aaron has an infectious skin disease or a bodily discharge, he may not eat the sacred offerings until he is cleansed. He will also be unclean if he touches something defiled by a corpse or by anyone who has an emission of semen, or if he touches any crawling thing that makes him unclean, or any person who makes him unclean, whatever the uncleanness may be. The one who touches any such thing will be unclean till evening. He must not eat any of the sacred offerings unless he has bathed himself with water. Verse 7, when the sun goes down, he will be clean, and after that, he may eat the sacred offerings, for they are his food. He must not eat anything found dead or torn by wild animals, and so become unclean through it. I am the Lord. In verse 9, the priests are to keep my requirements so that they do not become guilty and die for treating them with contempt. I am the Lord who makes them holy. No one outside the priest's family may eat the sacred offering, nor may the guests wages of a priest or his hired worker, eat. But if a priest buys a slave with money, or if a slave is born in his household, that slave may eat his food. Verse 12, if a priest's daughter marries anyone other than a priest, she may not eat any of the sacred contribution. But if a priest's daughter becomes a widow, or it is divorced, yet has no children, and she returns to live in her father's house as in her youth, she may eat of her father's food. No authorized person, however, may eat any of it. Verse 14. If anyone eats a sacred offering by mistake, he must make restitution to the priest for the offering and add a fifth of the value to it. The priest must not desecrate the sacred offerings the Israelites present to the Lord by allowing them to eat the sacred offerings and so bring upon them guilt requiring payment. I am the Lord who makes them holy. In verse 17 to 33, it's all about unacceptable sacrifices. No, verse 17, the Lord said to Moses, speak to Aaron and his sons and to all the Israelites and say to them, if any of you, either an Israelite or an alien living in Israel, presents a gift for a burnt offering to the Lord, either to fulfill a vow or as a freewill offering, you must present a male without defect from the cattle, sheep, or goats, in order that it may be accepted on your behalf. Do not bring anything with a defect, because it will not be accepted on your behalf. When anyone brings from the herd or flock a fellowship offering to the Lord to fulfill a special vow or as a freewill offering, it must be without defect or blemish to be acceptable. In verse 22, do not offer to the Lord the blind, the injured, or the maimed, or anything with warts or pestering or running sores. Do not place any of these on the altar as an offering made to the Lord by fire. Verse 23, you may however present a freewill offering, an ox or a sheep that is deformed or stunted, but it will not be accepted in fulfillment of a vow. You must not offer to the Lord an animal whose testicles are bruised, crushed, torn, or cut. You must not do this in your own land, and you must not accept such animals from the hand of a foreigner and offer them as the food of your God. They will not be accepted on your behalf because they are deformed and have defects. Verse 26, The Lord said to Moses, when a calf, a lamb, or a goat is born, it is to remain with its mother for 7 days. From the 8th day on, it will be acceptable as an offering made to the Lord by fire. Do not slaughter a cow or a sheep in its young on the same day. Verse 29, when you sacrifice a thank offering to the Lord, sacrifice it in a such way that it will be accepted on your behalf. It must be eaten that same day. Leave none of it till morning. I am the Lord. Verse 31, keep my commands and follow them. I am the Lord. Do not profane my holy name. I must be acknowledged as holy by the Israelites. I am the Lord who makes you holy and who brought you out of Egypt to be your God. I am the Lord. And that's all for Leviticus chapter 22. Ayan. So, maraming pong salamat. Salamat sa atin pong nakasama sa pagbabasa. Thank you po. Pwede po kayong mag-comment ano po. At kung meron po kayo mga prayer requests ay dito po tayo para ito ay ipanalangin. Ako po si Pastor Herbert or Robert, ano po. Minsan ay Robert, minsan Herbert yung tawag po sa akin. So, maraming pong salamat at sa ganitong mga oras, ano po. Ito po, bandang 3 o'clock ay tayo po ay nagbabasa ano po, ng kanyang salita. At muli po, bukas ay matutunghayan po nyo ako dito po sa channel na ito, Tips and Reminders. Ano po. So, muli ay sa Diyos po ang papuri at salamat po sa nakasama ko ngayong gabi na, ngayong araw na ito. Hindi ko man po kayo maaring kilala personal pero pagpapalain po kayo ng Diyos. Sa Diyos po ang papuri. Muli po bukas ng hapon ano dito sa Pilipinas ay 3 o'clock. Doon po sa mga oras na ganon, 3 hanggang 4 ay makakasama po nyo ako ano po. So ito nga lang po, limitado yung oras natin. Karamihan po ay 13 minutes lang tayo ano po. Pero minsan naman po ay lumalagpas. So marami pong salamat at sa Diyos po ang papuri. God bless you po.